Hi everyone, this is Luxtos, and today I'm bringing you a quick video update guide for the Druid WeakAuras. All 4 specializations have been reworked, brand new design, a lot of cool new feature. So, if you're ready, let's get right into it. If you go down below in the description under the video, you're going to find a link that brings you directly to my website for the Druid WeakAuras. You're going to find complete step-by-step instruction on how to install them with all the 6 links for all the 6 different groups. If you already have the old version of the Druid WeakAuras, I recommend that you delete all 6 groups and do a fresh install. This is going to ensure that you're not going to have any bugs or any issue. And if you've never installed the WeakAuras and you're starting from scratch pretty much and you're doing a fresh install, simply follow the instruction listed on the website, import every single group, all 6 of them, and you're going to be ready to go. Alright, let's get an overall view of the new WeakAuras so you can see the new design, the new functionality, new customization option, and all of that good stuff. We're going to go over every spec and you're going to be able to see what has changed and if you like it or not, right? So first of all, we're going to start with balance. Just to tell you that right now, my talents do not mean anything. This is not a class guide. This is just for demonstration purposes. I made all of the WeakAuras load outside of combat as well so that you guys can see everything clearly without me having to go in combat all the time, right? So these are going to be reset to be only displaying the resources group whenever you're outside of combat, and as soon as you attack something, everything else is going to show up just like usual. As you can see, we have a new design. All icon have been zoomed in, so we're removing all of the borders from the WeakAuras, which pretty much makes you not have to load like a clean icon package or mask key or all of that good stuff. Of course, if you want to revert that feature, if you don't like the zoom effect, you can simply click on any of the groups that are being affected and remove the zoom. I think I like it personally. It gives it a clean look. It's all borderless. It's all clean. It's all looking good. And it's not going to force you into having to load a specific icon package and all of that stuff in order to get like the same look as demonstrated in the video. So if you don't like that, you can simply revert it. But if you like it, it's going to be baseline in the package and you're going to be able to use it, right? So let's get into the customization option. One I think of the best customization option that we've added with the Druid package is called Clean Mode. So Clean Mode is something that you can simply toggle on with every single group that are cooldown, interrupts, and utilities. If you toggle on the clean mode, what it does is once you go in combat, for example, you're only going to see your basic rotation, resources, and your specific auras. Everything else is going to disappear. But as soon as you activate one of your abilities, it's going to show you that it's currently being active. And as soon as the active goes off, you're going to see that it's on cooldown. As soon as it comes back off cooldown, it's going to disappear again, which is going to give you a very clean, minimalistic look. You're not going to have to watch for everything at once, right? So you're not going to have all of the icons showing off everywhere. You're going to be able to have a very, very small HUD in the middle, giving you a more pleasing look if you wish for it. So if you do not like this feature, it's not going to be activated by default, so you need to activate it if you would like to get the clean mode. Again, it's only working for 3 groups. So you're going to be able to do that on your own. You still have all the glows. So pretty much if you want to make any cooldown glow, when it's off cooldown, you simply have to check the box. So, and you're going to be good to go. And it's going to glow pretty much whenever the ability is off cooldown. So this is the same for all of the brand new WeakAuras package. And that's built in right now. So one of the things that I decided to go ahead and change with the Druid WeakAuras is I'm removing the cast bar. So as you can see right now, I have an external cast bar just so I can show you. This is the one that I'm currently using. It's just baseline. It has no like lag, latency built in. It has nothing. It's just a baseline casting bar and it's just there so that you can see that everything is working. But I simply decided to stop adding casting bar to the WeakAuras package because WeakAuras should not be used for casting bar. A lot of people prefer to use personalized casting bar from other add-ons, and more often than not, they end up being disabled. They just take up like memory and CPU usage, and they just make it a little bit more complicated for me to do complete odd without hiding important interface option. So pretty much what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove all of the casting bar from every class package, and I'm probably going to release a package of just a single casting bar. You can import it if you like the look of it, and you can put it wherever you want pretty much for every classes. But the baseline package is no longer going to be containing the casting bar in those. So you're going to have to get an add-on for it or a specific WeakAura if you would like to track it with that, right? So that is it for most of the option for the general overview. So we're going to get more into balance and druid options, right? So as you can see, this is very faint down at the bottom here. Those are your affinity. So if you pick Restoration, Guardian, or Feral affinity, you get all of your bleeds or your healing cooldown displayed down here. So if you use Wild Growth, you're going to get a small ticking bar that tells you the cooldown remaining on Wild Growth. And if you use Swiftman, you're going to get a little progress bar with the right color with the timer as well. So that's going to be it's going to be usable for all affinity, and that's going to work for all spec. So that's going to be pretty neat, especially for Restoration. In the middle here, you're going to have your rotation, just like always. So you're going to be able to track all of your dots, right? So Moonfire, Sunfire, and you're going to be able to track your Star Surge in the middle. Your talents are going to be all here. You have an Astral Power that gives you an indicator of your next spell if you're going to overcap, for example, in resources. So that's pretty neat. And as soon as you start using those Star Surge, you're going to get your empowerment. So you're going to get your solar empowerment and your lunar empowerment as a bar here. And if you overcap, so if I try to overcap here, I might have to get lucky. There you go. It's going to start flashing, letting you notice you're currently overcapping on those empowerment, so that you need to spend them. In the middle, for the first time, we're currently tracking Arcanic Pulsar. So this is the first time that I'm implementing directly into the WeakAuras some Azeroth trait tracking, so we might keep that going forward, especially for those traits that are really, really important. So currently the only one that is being tracked is Arcanic Pulsar. I'm going to try to figure out all of the Azeroth trait that are really, really important for Druid, and we're going to be adding all of those in there. Currently right now we have this one. This is the most important one that I've found out. That is directly attached to one of the spell that I currently show, right? So everything else that is optional, that is defensive or utility based, we're not going to be showing it directly into the WeakAuras package. This one is just too important, and it gives you access to vital information for the spec, and it is able to be built in right into the WeakAuras package. So as you can see, as soon as you have, for example, Star Surge available, it's going to be simply in full saturation, and as soon as you're about to overcap, it's going to glow. So as soon as you get two of them, it's going to glow. That is only if you check the option, of course, because right now everything is disabled by default. So if you don't want anything to glow in your WeakAuras package, nothing is going to be glowing. So if I want my Star Surge to glow whenever I hit 80, then it's going to glow, right? As soon as you go under 80, it's not going to glow anymore. So all of those are going to be tracked. You have access to all of your PvP talents, your interrupt, your cooldown specific utility. Everything is built in there. You got your mana bar all the time down here, a little very faint mana bar. If you go in cat form, you're going to have access to both your energy and your current astral power. If you go in bear form, you're going to have access to your rage, of course, and all of that good stuff. For the empowerment, as you can see, you got a little faint bar right here, which pretty much gives you the timer on the remaining of your lunar and solar empowerment here. So if you're doing Mythic Plus, for example, where those could eventually run out, you're going to be able to track them here. So that's pretty much it for the overall look at the Druid WeakAuras and for balance. So now we're going to move on to Feral. So we pretty much redid everything yet again. As you can see, I picked completely random talents. This is not a class guide, but it's going to be able to illustrate you how does the WeakAuras work. So as soon as I change talent, you're going to soon see that everything is changing spots. So you're always going to have access to the most important information in the middle for your rotation, and everything is just going to be moving around depending on which talent you pick. If you have too many passive active ability, right? So if you pick Lunar Inspiration, Moonfire, you're going to want to track that It's going to be very important. Savage Roar is going to be having high priority right there in the middle. And if you don't pick any of those, then you're simply going to get Berserk to show up in the middle, right? So depending on which talent you pick, everything is going to move. Everything is going to be customizable. As you can see, I'm currently seeing all of my feral option outside of cat form. So this is one of the brand new changes with the Druid WeakAuras, is that depending on which spec you are, you always track what is really useful for you, right? Because I mean, there's no need to track all of the other information, and pretty much the only information you would need to track outside of your cat form would be your affinity. So if you pick Resto Affinity, again, you're going to see all of those information, Guardian and Balance Affinity, which is going to give you access to a complete new HUD if you ever want to do range DPS for Feral, for example, if it's not only for the 3-yard bonus range. Okay, so we're just gonna go ahead with default starting talent that I chose up here, and we're just gonna see how everything works. So everything baseline is gonna work pretty much. It's gonna be very simple, right? So you're not gonna have any glow, you're not gonna have anything fancy. If you want those to show up, you're gonna need to customize that on your own. You're gonna be able to track all of the information if you want things to glow on pandemic range, when they're not present, when a cooldown is ready. All of those things are able to be customized in the panel, just like I showed you. Again, we're going to track the empowerment of your bleed. So if you ever apply bleed during, for example, Tiger Fury, well, it's going to tell you that you applied those bleed, and that reapplying them outside of the window would be a DPS loss, right? So the number goes red here. This is how much % damage you would lose if you ever decide to reapply Rake and Rip right now. So this is not a rotational guide, but you shouldn't be reapplying your bleeds if they're not currently, you're not being currently empowered with one of your ability that increase your damage, right? So for Feral and Guardian, you're gonna have like a range check. So as soon as you get in range, everything is gonna be in color. If you go outside of range, it's gonna be red, so that you know that those ability are not able to be pressed right now. Everything else is just going to be track. It's going to be the exact same thing as Guardian. So you're going to get a half rage bar, and you're also going to have at all time your mana bar at the bottom. You're going to have your interrupt, your utility, your cooldown specific, all of that cool information. You're going to be able to track your clear cast right here at the bottom. And you're gonna have also your instant cast being tracked here with the passive Predatory Swiftness. So everything is tracked. PvP talents, all talents option are supported. Everything is gonna be tracked in one HUD. Again, you can activate the clean mode if you want to get rid of the cooldown utilities and interrupt, and you might only want to see them when they are active or on cooldown only. So that was a quick overview for Feral. We're going to go ahead and do the same for Guardian Druid. All right, let's talk about the bear. So we're going to go right into the talents. Everything was picked completely at random right now. This is not a guide. This is only to show you how the WeakAuras works. So we're gonna go in combat here. We're gonna start applying some abilities. So if you use Thrash, it's gonna go desaturated, and you're gonna see a cooldown swipe for the time that the ability is on cooldown. And as soon as it goes off cooldown, you're gonna see the remaining time on your bleed. So this is something that you want to use on cooldown pretty much, so the bleed is always going to be active, but it's still fun to be able to see how much time remaining there is. So if you're picking a Galactic Guardian, you're going to have access to your Moonfire proc, right? And you're going to be able to see how much time remaining there is on it and that you need to use it. You're going to have your charges for Frenzied Regen, so as soon as you use it, you know how long it's been healing, and then you go back to the cooldown with the number of charge being showing up right here at the top. As soon as you use Iron Fur, you're gonna get the duration of the buff and how many stacks you have. So this is something that it doesn't refresh itself, so it simply stacks up, and every stack has an individual duration, and they will tick down individually. So you're gonna have access to the duration of it, the number of stack, and all of that good stuff. If you change talents, so right now we're tracking Earth Warden, but you could track Guardian of the Loon up there. You could track Lunar Beam in your cooldown. You can track also Pulverize. Everything is going to be tracked. PvP talent, everything is being taken into account here. So if, as you can see, for example, for Guardian right now, you have Barkskin and Survival. They're going to be right, Survival Instinct and Barkskin are going to be right in your cooldown instead of being down in your utility, because they're going to be way more important for Guardian than for Feral, for example, as they're going to play a major role in how you play your class, right? So that's fairly straightforward for Guardian Druid, and there's not much moving around. So Bristlefur, if you decide to not pick it, for example, and go with Blood Frenzy or Brambles, you're simply going to have the shortest cooldown show up here. Survival has a very, very long cooldown, so I decided to leave it in the cooldown section, and Barkskin is going to be shown up here since it's going to have a very short moving cooldown. Of course, if you decide to pick Pulverize, it's going to go right back in there. Everything is going to be customizable and it's going to move, right? Again, for Guardian, you can go ahead and disable or enable the clean mode, and you can also ask for specific abilities to glow whenever they're not present or whenever they go in pandemic, or all of that good stuff. So that's it for Guardian. We're going to move straight up right now into Restoration. So this one is very fun because you're going to be using your affinity a little bit more, and they're going to be put to good use, right? So for example, most people will decide to go with Feral Affinity. Yet again, all other talents are picked at random just for demonstration purposes. So if you go, for example, in Cat and you start using some DPS ability like Rake and Rip, you're going to be able to track those duration. If you ever want to apply Sunfire, Moonfire, all of those good ability, they're going to be tracked, and you're going to be able to see when you need to reapply them. As soon as they go away, they're going to start flashing, and you know you should probably go back and start using your abilities again to reapply all of those dots, right? So that's going to be very, very helpful for Restoration. Everything else is just going to track your default toolkit. So there's not a lot of things moving around for Restoration, but you know, that's a good thing. So you're going to have your Life Bloom, of course, that you're going to be able to track. You're going to track it throughout every group member pretty much. So it's not going to work if you start healing somebody at random outside of your group, for example, because that uses a lot of CPU and a lot of memory, and it makes it pretty much useless. You don't really care about somebody that you would be healing outside of your group. So if you see this not working properly, that's because your Life Bloom needs to be on you or on somebody in your group, right? So this is going to allow you to track all of those things. If you use Wild Growth, for example, you're going to see it go on cooldown, and you're also going to see how many targets are being affected, so that you can time that out with your Flourish timing and all of that good stuff right there. You're gonna have both Swiftmen being tracked with Prosperity, and then if you pick Soul of the Forest, you're gonna be able to see how long you have remaining on that proc, and then you can make sure to use it up again if you don't want to burn it, if you don't want to, because you cannot stack Soul of the Forest, right? So all of that is going to be tracked. You're going to track also your efflorescence, and it's going to show you exactly how many people are standing in it. So there's a maximum of three targets that can be healed by it. So after 3, it's not going to count anymore. So pretty much it waits for a tick, and then as soon as it ticks, it's able to figure out how many people are in it, and it's able to refresh rather quickly as soon as the tick is applied, right? So you're going to see if you're using an optimal efflorescence or not, and that's going to be kind of cool. You're also going to have your Dispel showing up here at all times, so that's going to be very, very useful for Restoration. You're going to have a giant mana bar here, and you're going to have your combo points, because that's really useful if you're playing Feral Affinity and you want to sit with that big Ferocious Bite, for example, in PvP, if you want to sit on someone, right? So you're going to track all of your combo points and all of your information for Feral outside of your cat form, right? This is only if you pick Feral Affinity, of course. If you pick Guardian or Balance, you're going to see different information appearing down there. Then you're going to have all of your talents. So, for example, Cenarian Ward and all of those are simply going to appear here next to Ironbark. And all other cooldown are simply going to show up in the cooldown section, the interrupt, where you can change those, and all of the PvP talents are going to be tracked as well. So that's pretty neat. So this pretty much covers everything for Restoration Druid. We did an overall look, and we went through every single spec to show you what has changed and how everything is working. So that's pretty much it for Druid. I really hope that you like it.